Hey everyone, Matron here bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary, this time the third and final game in the best of 3 series between seleCT, spawning as the Red Terran, and NEXGenius, spawning as the Blue Protoss. This game will be played on Xel'Naga Caverns. This is the third game in these two players' first round matchup in the Blizzcon 2010 Experts SC2 tournament. So NEXGenius was able to even the series 1-1, and both players now looking to knock off their opponent and move on to the second round of this tournament. NEXGenius was able to counter the Marine and Marauder Ball of seleCT last game with Colossi. seleCT was just not able to take down the Colossi with his Vikings, so he did suffer the defeat. Now we'll see which strategies both players employ in this third and final game of the series. NEXGenius has been favoring a 13 gateway. seleCT has been opening up with 2 barracks, one with the tech lab, one with the reactor, and has yet to push out before he has finished that concussive shell and the stim pack. So NEXGenius may have an opportunity to throw down an early expansion, as there is a bit of a lull in seleCT's pressure. Haven't seen him move out and be aggressive yet early in a game. Looks like we did get that 13 pylon, or the 13 gateway, and get an assimilator as well. Bit of an early assimilator at 14 there. Both players now sending out their scouts. They may meet here in the middle. As we see, both players employ a late scout. seleCT likes to get out that Reaper. We'll see if he does that this game as well, and use it for scouting and a bit of light harassment. See the first Marine coming out for seleCT, going to deny the scouting of NEXGenius. And see NEXGenius is not deciding to push out a Zealot here, so this SCV from seleCT will be able to get to work on this pylon for one, and most importantly be able to see anything that NEXGenius decides to go for. So especially the timing of the second gas is very important. NEXGenius is getting up this gas quickly, and also queuing up quite a few probes it looks like as well. So the second gas is going to signify some higher tech coming out for NEXGenius. Last game he favored the robotics facility and the Colossi. He does have a few chrono boosts saved up, which is not yet used on his probes, so we'll see if he's going to chrono boost out either the Stalker or the Warp Gate tech. We see the tech lab has finished for seleCT. He's getting out the concussive shell research, and as soon as his second bunker comes up, he's going to equip it with the reactor. So this early time, this 4 or 5 minute mark, we see mostly just upgrades and the add-ons coming out for seleCT, which makes me think that it'd be a great time to throw down an expansion for NEXGenius. It looks like this may be happening right here with this probe. So a fast expand for NEXGenius, taking advantage of that slow buildup of units as he works on this reactor for seleCT. If we look at the army tab right now, both players just with 1 or 2 units on the field. seleCT does have this Reaper. It's going to be able to take this tower and map control back from that probe, and NEXGenius does have this Stalker. So pushing back that Reaper. seleCT coming in with an SCV. Looks like he maybe, looks like he's going to scout back here, perhaps place some sort of proxy back here. Looks like seleCT has prepared a bunker and getting up his own command center, so both players favoring a fast expansion here. NEXGenius this time was able to take the lead though in expansion timing. We saw seleCT be very aggressive with his expansions in the first 2 games, so NEXGenius is going to take a bit of an economic advantage at first, as seleCT finishes this command center a bit later than the Nexus for the Protoss player. seleCT is aware of this expansion, and again, pretty passive here just with the 2 barracks. We see a few units coming out at a time. seleCT does have about 600 units worth of army right now. It's going to be able to defend any sort of push that NEXGenius decides to come with. And NEXGenius is getting up 4 gates now. Not yet on a robotics facility, it looks like, or a Stargate, so has not picked a higher tech path, just working on his economy and these 4 gates right now. See if he does warp in some army. Looks like he's going to move forward with a probe here, perhaps to try to take this tower, or even throw up a pylon and do some sort of push on the expansion of seleCT. seleCT has scrapped or salvaged that bunker, so he's going to take back a little bit of the minerals, and looks like we get a transfer here. So great timing on that, and another orbital command coming up for seleCT. This Reaper going to come in and see what kind of scouting it can do. Not much going to be given away by the natural of NEXGenius here, though there is a robotics facility the Reaper may be able to see if it moves along the mineral line. Wonder if it's going to start on these probes. It is going to take down one probe there. It's not going to be able to do much scouting if you are going to alert your enemy with the probe kill there. So he is not yet seen in this robotics facility. Now seleCT moving out with these Marines and Marauders. Looks like 5 Marauders there, and then a number of Marines as well. So this is something NEXGenius is not going to see off of this one tower yet, as seleCT is moving them, and it's now just going to come into the vision of NEXGenius. NEXGenius is going to try to warp in units to defend against this push. Finally does have the robotics facility out. Here comes seleCT with a scan. NEXGenius has a nice concave here with the Stalkers and the Sentries, going to be able to trap these units if seleCT is not careful. seleCT throwing up the supply depot there, going to prevent any sort of proxy being placed back there, or hidden units behind the grass. See, NEXGenius also has a pylon, but instead we see some sort of attack here. Looks like seleCT going to try to do his best to micro away from NEXGenius. We do have a split army for both players at this point, micro from both sides. So we see seleCT able to take down a number of NEXGenius's units, but NEXGenius was able to repel that attack for the most part. So we see going to be able to pick off a number of Zealots and Sentries here, trying to slow both of them, not only what they're currently killing, but the next target as well. And now their stemmed up units are going to run back and retreat. We saw a number of units also streaming in to try to reinforce that attack, but they also are going to retreat. We'll see what the outcome of that attack is. Looks like that Reaper's going to go down. Both players see what they choose to do here. It looks like seleCT is going to throw up another 2 barracks, now going to work off 5 barracks, has not yet thrown down a factory, so we're not going to see those medevacs come out quite yet. Looks like the factory is coming down right here, still on the 3 gas right now, so you're going to have to get up a 4th gas if he's going to try to get medevacs into play here. So we see a number of buildings coming down for NEXGenius. A robotics bay going to open up that Colossi tech, and then the Forge going to perhaps work on some upgrades for his ground-based army here. Another gateway coming as well, so this will be 5 gateways and a robotics facility, easy to support off of these 2 bases. If we look at the income for both players, 48 for NEXGenius, 32 for seleCT. So both players rolling in the dough right now off of these 2 bases, as the mains are not yet mined out. Stalker coming out, trying to take back that tower. A stem that's not going to be worth taking down that Stalker. 5 HP off of all these units. And now we do see an attack here. A number of force fields going to trap these front units, going to make the Zealots going to be able to get to them. The Zealots are being slowed by these concussive shells. seleCT doing a great job. Look at this great micro from seleCT, taking down all of these Zealots, focusing down that Immortal very quickly, and just doing a fantastic job in microing and taking down those front Zealots. NEXGenius is going to have to warp in more Zealots if he hopes to tank for these damage-dealing Stalkers. Look at the production tab. It looks like we have a Colossus coming out, as well as the extended thermal lance. seleCT taking down these destructible rocks at this gold expansion. He does not yet have another command center being made, but he should be throwing one up shortly. Looks like he does have 400 minerals now, though he is just going to macro up some more army instead. Finally see the starport come out. It's going to be placed on this reactor. He's going to get up a few medevacs at first, and then once he sees these Colossus come out, he's going to have to get up some Vikings as well. So here come the 2 Colossus. Looks like we have ground weapons level 1 for the Protoss player, and another Colossus coming out as well. If we look at the army tabs, 2700 to 2000, and the higher tech advantage goes to NEXGenius at the moment. If he times this attack and pushes out right now with these 2 Colossus and this thermal lance upgrade, I do not think that seleCT is going to be able to take it on. He does not have any Vikings up, still just pushing out these few medevacs, but very low energy on these medevacs. we see that NEXGenius is going to be taking down these destructible rocks and perhaps throwing up another expansion, putting a forward pylon here. It's going to be able to warp in units halfway up the map. The scout from seleCT should have been able to see the majority of that army as it destroyed those rocks. It looks like seleCT's now going to move out, needs to get away from this choke and out into this open space so that he can kite. His only chance against this unit composition of NEXGenius is great micromanagement. He's got to take down these Colossus best he can. Looks like we should see a few Vikings in response from our Terran player. Looks like he's going to stim up and engage right now. The Colossus are going to be on the high ground. He's going to try to focus down these Colossus. The site given to him by these medevacs on the high ground. One Colossus does go down. A number of force fields going to make retreating impossible for a Terran player. He's going to get pickup from the medevacs. One medevac does go down. Almost a full and going to be dropping and attacking from multiple angles here. NEXGenius has quite the army pushing into the base of seleCT, and seleCT has to GG. So we see NEXGenius was able to win 2 games here off the strength of those Colossus. The early pressure just never came from seleCT. NEXGenius was able to throw up that expansion very quickly. He adapted to what seleCT had been doing the first 2 games, throwing up an expansion of his own, and was just able to out-macro seleCT, and at the end had about 1,000 more mineral army than seleCT, as well as the higher tech. Great timing. As soon as the thermal lance pushed out there and a 3rd Colossus, he moved out before any Vikings could be made. We see the first 2 Vikings about to be coming for seleCT. So he's able to win the game before the counter to these Colossi came out. So a great series by these 2 players. I'll be casting more of the Blizzcon 2010 tournament, so join me in the next round, round 2. We see Huck moved on, NEXGenius moved on, seleCT now moving on to the losers bracket. If you enjoyed this cast or want to see more Blizzcon casts, please subscribe to my channel, Matron StarCraft, and leave some comments. Tell me how I'm doing, how the games are, what was your favorite part of certain games, which pros employed strategies that you yourself do, any sort of things that you want to say. Be interested to hear what you have to say about these casts and these games. Some great games from BlizzCon so far. I look forward to the next round, and I'll see you there.